The United States is a beautiful country with well-maintained wide roads and colorful trees during the fall season. Many Mexicans have chosen the northern states like Illinois and Wisconsin, where there is work for just about everybody. In this area of the country, the winters can be hard, but in the summer there are plenty of activities to do. One of them is to go to yard sales or garage sales, where they can find anything from a piano for hundreds of dollars cheaper to a box of screws for 25 cents that Home Depot sells for $3. Americans like to get rid of things that have not been used for months, even if they don't take much space in their garage in the big cities or houses. Other cultures have flourished too. A good example in the suburb of Arlington Heights, Illinois, it's a Japanese store called Mitsuwa, which is visited by thousands. But the customers are not only Japanese or other Asians. On a normal weekend, white Americans, Hispanics, and Indians can be seen shopping there too. They sell anything from groceries to beauty products or Sapporo beer and sake. For those living close to rural areas in the summer, another big attraction is the farms that sell fruits and vegetables grown in their fields like corn that Mexicans buy to make atole or tamales, or simply roast them in their backyards. It's usually in the summer too that most quinceañeras are very popular. A huge and long-awaited celebration for the 15-year-old girls and their families. Everybody will celebrate this party or know someone who has a daughter or daughters that eventually will invite their friends to celebrate it together. When there are no quinceañeras to celebrate, the other option is to go to see a good movie and have a drink before the show. After the movie, a good idea is to go to an Asian restaurant for some good orange chicken with vanilla and caramel ice cream for dessert. But even with all these things, many Mexicans wait all year long to go to Mexico to visit their towns and cities. On weekends prior to the trip, they have to go shopping for relatives. The day has come, and it's time to pack all the things that will be needed in Mexico and the presents for family and friends. After a 4-hour flight, they get to Mexico City, and within an hour, they hit the road to Acapulco. Just like any other road trip, it's always fun to stop for snacks, where random things can be seen, like a dog eating a tostada, a chicken on top of the chips, or a truck full of pigs. The road from Mexico City, called Autopista del Sol, has spectacular views. Like a bridge that makes you feel you're in San Francisco. Unfortunately, this time Acapulco is closed to tourism due to Hurricane Otis, and they have to stay in Tierra, Colorada, where they get to meet another dog the neighbors call him Gringo, who spends his days taking naps on the sidewalk.
Oh, está durmiendo nomás. ¡Ey! Estoy platicando con el perrito, espérame. ¿Cuál es el perrito?
Se llama Gringo.
¿Gringo? Hello. Despierta. ¡Ah, qué bonitos ojos!
One of the attractions in this town is to take selfies in the back of a pickup truck while holding a beer with the other hand, violating every single safety rule.
¿Ah, sí?
Varios puntos de Colorado hicieron.
Está padre.
This time they can't make it to the beach and they have to settle with Casa Yope. The place was built on the side of a hill and managed to catch the water that comes down from the top of the hill into round swimming pools.
Mira.
A hairless dog walks around the place and stops for a few seconds to dance to the rhythm of a cumbia. Another puppy is tied to a tree while his family enjoys a mojarra. The view here is beautiful, and at times it seems like an Asian country where Rambo movies were filmed. It's nighttime, and it's time to go out to eat something. Gringo is still on the streets. A couple on the motorcycle is out too, perhaps on the way to eat some chalupas as well. There are many puestos, or food stands, on the main street.
Le voy a encargar a Leslie, quiero dos horneros. Son dos órdenes, ¿verdad, mijo, para llevar?
¿Igual las pides para llevar?
And some stop for enchiladas, other for tacos and huaraches.
Con eso del huracán, ¿verdad? Se bajó.
De hace 3 meses, ¿no? Aquí bajó todo.
Sí.
A ver, 3 órdenes.
Por favor.
A mí, estas son
De él.
mira, el sopecito fila.
¿Sí vas a poder con él? ¿Sí vas a poder? ¿O buscamos a alguien que nos ayude? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Quieres comer?
It's very common for families in Mexico to have birds as pets.
A ver. Ahí te puse unas nuevas. A ver si no las riego, ¿ok? Ahí está. Ahí está ya. Ya te puse de comer.
After feeding the hungry bird, it's time to dry the clothes from yesterday so they can go to the next stop. Before leaving Tierra, Colorada, it's time to go to the mercado again to say bye to a cousin. On the way, Gringo is again on the sidewalk. Seems like he never leaves his post.
Hola. Ahorita te compro un pancito, ok, y te lo traigo. Duérmete.
The market is very crowded with a lot of puestos too. Mothers are shopping their chickens for meals this afternoon or evening. Before leaving this town, it's a good idea to buy fruit for the long way to the road to the next town. Leaving the market, a man plays a Brazilian song with two instruments, a very popular song known as lambada by most. Time to get on the road again for the next stop. After a few hours of driving, it's time to stop for food in something Mexicans call Restaurant de Paso. The owner recites the menu without looking at it.
Pollito en chile de ajonjolí, pollito en chile ajo, tenemos también iguana en chile ajo y está el caldito de pollo blanco con arroz, la carnita de puerco en chile verde, tomatón.
It's Dia de Muertos, and people celebrate it with a parade. Traces of American Halloween can be seen here with customs. "30 minutes later, they finally arrived at the place where they will stay for days. It's almost sunset, and people are on the streets and some business still open. At home already, it's time to sit outside like most people do. Neighbors pass by to say hi and chat about life. Now it's morning. Time to go to the mercado. Downtown is not too far, but it's better to wait for the combi. This way they can interact with the other passengers.
Ya todo el mundo se enteró que queremos taxi. Todo el mundo.
Hagan la parada.
Yo ya la estoy haciendo.
Nos vemos en un ratito, ¿ok? Cuidado con el... ¿Vamos bien? Vamos bien, ok. Pero es sin sal.
Sí, es
Sin sal.
Sí.
Y el periquito la abre, ¿verdad? Solito, no hay que abrírsela. El periquito la abre con su piquito.
Sí.
¿Cómo a qué horas os podría entregar, digamos?
Si gustan las dos o que cuanto estén, si están antes
Pues se los deje hablar y no le pedimos de favor.
¿Salsa y crema o puros tamales? Sí, salsa y crema. Claro que sí, yo se los mando.
At the mercado, instead of a coffee and a donut, most people start their mornings with atole, a hot, delicious, and nutritious drink that has been around for thousands of years since the domestication of corn.
Hola, perrito. Dice que él quiere de ciruela o con panile. ¿Ya le preguntaste?
Sí, hay de ciruela y hay de panile.
¿A poco? Yo tengo que ir panile.
Panile, ¿verdad? ¿Con panile?
Sí, iba a pedirte uno de calabaza.
El de ciruela se ve rico.
Ah, entonces panile.
Panile.
¿Tú vas a tomar?
Sí, te doy que comer.
Ok, yo, me das tantito.
Pero yo, ¿cuál quieres? Yo que pedí blanco.
El que tú quieras. Yo voy a...
It's noontime now, and the streets are crowded with vendors and customers, full of residents and people from many surrounding towns that came to buy the products that they don't have in their small communities.
Ahorita te llamamos para que te presentes unas miches y unos azulitos.
No sabe qué es azulito.
Ok, mijo, gracias.
¿O sí lo...?
Tranquila.
Ay, va, mijo.
Ok, bye, mijo. Luego te hablo.
After buying a few things, it's time to go home, but this time they'll do it in a mixta, a little truck that is a taxi with the capability to carry bags or other big objects in the back, where it's fun to ride.
Y acuérdate que te lo lavan de lo ideal.
Sí. ¿Le van? Sí.
Time to enjoy the tamales for lunch. This time, they are tamales de elote or corn tamales.
Ya nos recorrimos.
No, eso no como yo.
No.
Es veneno.
Sí.
Yo puro de lactosa.
A few hours later, it's time to go back to el centro to buy Dia de Muertos souvenirs for the ofrenda and flowers. In this city, like many others in Mexico, there's a huge variety of snacks. One of them is nieve con pan de baqueta. Nieve means snow in English, but many Mexicans call nieve to ice cream.
Buenas tardes.
This one is homemade with natural ingredients inside a piece of bread like a sandwich. A gigantic Katrina is at the center of the square, and just about everybody takes pictures with her.
Okay.
Tonight is Halloween in the US, but in Mexico, kids come out for trick or treat too, with their costumes and pumpkins, but with a very different and unique song to request candy.
¿No quieren calaverita?
Cuida a tu papá. Ya.
¿No quieres calaverita? Sí. Dale, córrele.
Dile gracias.
Tienen hambre, hay un pedazo de pan, no se lo acaben todo, déjenlo a la mitad, si no les dan se morirán, y en el infierno lo pagarán, tacos con chile, tacos con sal, las calaveras quieren cenar.
It's a new day with the same routine. Wait for the combi to go to El Centro. It's been so many years out of the country that they have to rely on current residents when it comes to good food recommendations.
Buenas tardes. Me dijeron que por aquí abajo venden enchiladas, chalupas.
Sí, esa en la esquina donde está.
¿Un tal letrero blanco?
Ajá, enfrente, sí, ahí se ven unas.
Bien junto a la encima.
Ajá, esas sombrillas.
¿Y está bueno?
Bueno, para mi gusto más o menos.
Sí.
Ajá. Y allá me llevaste a vivir.
¡Bolillas! ¿Esa de qué es? ¿Esa que estás haciendo?
Son empanadas de pollo.
No, pero lo de adentro, ¿qué es?
Pollo.
Pollo, ah.
Ay, no, sí, tú sí. Eres de las... ¿Tiene bebidas? No sé.
Now it's time to leave the city and visit the little village. Most people left this town to go to cities in Mexico looking for opportunities or to the United States. Here, there used to be a store where 40 or 50 years ago, customers from other little villages came for sugar, salt, sodas, veladoras, or religious candles, cooking oil, gum, chips, etc. They used to sell beer and alcohol too. Then, late at night, men gathered to play cards, sometimes stirring up a fight that led to the beginning of a dispute or rivalry that ended up in the killing of someone. This used to be a school, a primaria, where 1 or 2 teachers gave classes up to 6th grade. The building still stands, but it's not used anymore, according to the locals.
La escuela primaria está de aquel lado, allá viniendo por la otra calle.
¿Esta ya que tendrá unos 10 años que ya no? ¿O más?
No, más.
Más. Ah,
Más de unos 20 años a lo mejor.
¿a poco? Pero está bonito que no la dejaron caer. Y entonces ahí es la entrada para el jardín de niños. Y aquí vienen de Dayerovene, ¿y de dónde más vendrán? ¿Del Zapote vendrán? Okay.
This other house looks like a recreation made by Hollywood for a movie about the times of the revolution.
Mira qué bonito. Mira cómo se cierran los árboles. Ay, aquí es una sombrita natural.
Ahí en medio había cajón de abejas y pasábamos y les tirábamos piedras para que nos corretearan.
On the way to El Zapote, they find plum trees with the last wave of ripe fruit. Some of these, now trees, were planted as posts for a fence about 40 or 50 years ago.
¿Sí pasa? Este es mi zapote.
Ándale, así lo recuerdo yo.
Esa es mi escuela, luego vamos.
They finally get to the little village where family and old friends live and chose to never leave.
Siéntate tú, estás cargando, siéntate.
Sí, así están las cosas, ¿cómo ven?
Pues
Ese cuadro quedó muy bien, sí, ve. Sí, quedó muy bien.
estaba cuando yo era niño. ¿No quieres esa casa?
They are in the mood for a beer, but it's Dia de Muertos and the options are limited here. A little girl takes them with her aunt, but they only sell candy and other snacks.
¿Y aquí quién vive?
Mi tía Marlene, mi tía... No, mi madrina Magali y Karina. Madrina, ¿podemos pasar?
Buenas tardes. ¿Tú qué quieres, mija?
No quiero. ¿No quieren algo ustedes?
Refrescos, chiquitos.
¿No quieren algo ustedes?
They have an ofrenda there too. The ofrenda is a representation where family places pictures of their loved ones that passed away with candles, flowers, and pan de muerto. Pan de muerto is homemade bread that literally means bread for the dead. There is no beer here, but they were told to go to another place where they might get lucky. At this house, there are two beautiful cats with amazing eyes. There is a frog too, and it's weird that the cats, dogs, or even the chickens haven't killed it. The next stop is only a few yards away. This is the house where one of them was born. The place seems smaller now, and a new family is there. A young couple with two beautiful daughters. A few ducks interact with the chickens, and three piglets try to call for attention in an effort to get food or water, or both.
Ahorita les dan de comer. Ahorita les dan de comer. Otro ratito.
It's time to leave the peace of this place and go back to the city. Almost 10 p.m. now, and time to go visit the ofrendas. Every year people visit ofrendas nuevas. An ofrenda nueva is something that families put when one of their relatives passed away between October of the previous year and the current one. These offerings display photos of the deceased one and his or her name. Some families place items that were part of the person when he or she was alive. Something that resembles their lives, from a bottle of liquor, cigarettes, to a computer or a little truck or tools.
La basura de la jefa. La basura. La basura.
Yo me quiero tomar una foto.
Hoy sí va a estar fuerte el sol, hoy. Págala de una vez.
Today is November 2nd, and like every morning, time to go to el mercado again. There's no time to wait for the combi, and they had to hire a mixta.
¡Ya estuvo!
Ay, sí me salió el castillo.
Padre. Te quedó padre de la basura.
Oh, sí, le tomamos.
Inside the mercado, they look for menudo or pancita, a hot soup made with several parts of the cow's digestive system that goes with chopped up onion and cilantro. This is a very popular dish that is served usually in the mornings and one of the best remedies for hangovers, even though doctors did not recommend it. El Castillo, or the castle, is an iconic structure built more than 100 years ago by a visionary man the size of any American entrepreneur. For many years, this was a thread factory and other business. After that, a family lived there too. There is a lot of activity today. Young kids with buckets that bring water to the tombs for the flowers. Other vendors walk around with candy, chips, and even beer. Right outside the cemetery, there's more vendors, and the family has opened the doors to sell menudo, the same family that sells it at the mercado. Two young men sing to the customers while they're having dinner. Earlier, they were inside the cemetery, singing the songs that the relatives used to listen when they were in this world. It's another day and the last one in this town. Time to pack the bread and candies and other things coming back to the U.S.
Esto lo voy a dejar, te digo, para que nos vayamos comiendo.
De aquí hasta que volvemos.
Sí, ajá.
Está bien.
Porque si ya está mucho pedacito.
Dame algo más de chiquito.
Las cajitas las saco de aquí o así. Sí, no las saco.
Pues yo digo que sacarla por la sudada. Así sí sudan. Que suden en el papel.
A ver.
Porque así se crean.
Pero este es así, Fila, no les pongas papel.
No.
Estas
Ok.
que vayan, ponlas tú en medio, vételas poniendo como en medio.
No tienes nada más. Bueno, es que aquí abajo.
Unfortunately, after eating street foods and snacks, the stomach has given up. The nurse administers antibiotics and other medication. After that, they had to say bye to the relatives and start heading to Mexico City, to the airport.
Your carry-on items are promptly put away in the overhead compartments or underneath the seat in front of you, making sure all aisles and exits are clear. If you're in those emergency exit rows 20.
Se murieron las plantas. Voy a ver si puedo salvar algo de esto y a ver qué pasa.
They're finally home, but the pepper plants have died. Time to unpack the bread and other things from Dia de Muertos and go back to the routine.
Sí, ama, así anda él.
Pues dale té.
Sí, ahorita ya le hice el té.
Go back to work like everybody else to save again for next year. Life is beautiful.